What's up guys, it's Josh back with another video, and today I want to show you guys Feren OS. So as I stated in the intro of the video, I wanted to cover a Linux distribution and basically do a review or a quick look at Feren OS. And it's a super interesting distribution. It has been going around as one of the most attractive distributions that you could find out there right now. Like many distributions, Feren OS is based on Ubuntu distribution, as well as it ships with the KDE desktop, which is rated as one of the best desktop environments as far as looks go. And as far as the install, it's super simple to install. It has a tweaked Calamaris installer that it ships with, and it also comes with custom themes and fonts. And one cool thing about it, I saw that it ships with the Vivaldi web browser, which is an awesome browser that a lot of people use to protect their privacy while they're using the internet. And I thought that was super cool that it actually came with it. So let's go down and hop over to their website so we can check out a little bit about the distribution before I take you guys through the install and look at the desktop environment for Feren OS. Let's get started. Okay, cool. So I'm at foreignos.weekly.com. That's where you can actually get the distribution Feren OS. As you can see, we're on the home page, but this is how it pretty much looks. Let's read a little bit about it. It says, say hello to a new way to use your computer. And one cool thing about this distribution is made for people that are coming over from the Windows operating system, and they make it super simple for you to actually do that. Now, I haven't used the tools that they have, but they do have tools that allow you to transfer your data over to the Linux operating system, just to make that transition that much easier. But as you can see right here, it says Feren OS is a free and open source operating system that lets you get stuff done with a fresh take on a familiar user experience that can be changed to suit your workflow, and a desktop that stays out of the way and lets you do your work. Set up once, enjoy for the rest of your device's lifetime. So that's one of their slogans right there, and that's some good information about it. But basically, they're currently on 2021.10. That's the latest version currently that they have. And if you want to download it, all you have to do is hit the Get Feren OS, or you can click right here. They'll take you to the page. But I wanted to show you guys a few more things before we actually get to it. But it says designed around you, the user. With Feren OS, you get the desktop that's easy to initially set up and then stay out of the way afterwards. So just basic information about the distribution. Is designed for people, you know, that are new to the Linux operating system. It says a whole world of applications, and I'm sure if you've heard of Ubuntu, you know, it's pretty much the same repositories as Ubuntu where they get all their software. So it's pretty much the same software. But like I was saying, Vivaldi comes by default, but you can obviously install Chrome, Chromium, Edge, as well as Mozilla Firefox, Brave, you know, all those different ones. But they stand behind Vivaldi, which is an interesting browser. And I definitely want you guys to actually check that out. I think I did a video on Vivaldi a while back showing you guys everything about it. But if we scroll down here, this is where it talks about, it says made on a rock solid foundation. So Feren OS is a British made Linux distribution that is based on Ubuntu. Like I stated before, it's Ubuntu based, and that's pretty much a lot of newer Linux distributions. They're either based on Ubuntu or based on Arch, and we already know that those two are kind of like the most popular Linux distributions that are out right now. So a lot of people are making distributions based on those distributions. And let's scroll back up here. I wanted to go to the Get Feren OS link, but this is what I wanted to show you guys I was talking about earlier. But they have a cool way of transferring your data. Switching from Windows, then you click right here, it says transfer your data. So they have a tool that you can actually install that'll allow you to transfer your data. So pretty much grab everything for you, and then you can restore it on a Linux distribution. Now I haven't used this tool, so I don't know how well it actually works, but they have a whole guide and a bunch of tutorials on how to actually use this tool in order to get your data, you know, transferred to your new system. But let's go back to Feren OS and show you guys how to download it. Basically all you have to do is scroll down, hit download Feren OS. It's 2.5 gigabyte size, and like I said, this is the current version 21.10. Not sure if they have the older versions on here, doesn't look like it, but they have information on how you can write the ISO to USB if you need to, or write the ISO to a DVD, which most people don't have anymore right now, but they do have that option for you, you know what I'm saying, using that ISO file. And then, like I said, they have a lot of information, documentation, you know, preparing for installation, you know, on a Windows system, a Mac OS system, and other OSs. So they have documentation on how to actually get it. But they do have a Feren OS Classic, and I didn't know this, but this is July 2020. It's a snapshot. That's that version, so you can download that if you want to, but I definitely recommend you download the latest version. I heard the older versions were based on Linux Mint, which was a little bit different, you know what I'm saying. It says you can still use Feren OS Classic without updating the base from Ubuntu 18 to 20. Yeah, so it has some information on there. Just check it out, read it, you know what I'm saying. But I definitely recommend you guys download the latest version. And let's talk about a little bit of the system requirements for it. And it says, in order to run Feren OS, your system would need to meet the following requirements: a USB or DVD, you know, for the live session, 1024 by 768 resolution plus resolution, an internet connection, obviously legacy BIOS or a UEFI. So secure boot off is recommended. Basically most machines have this. So and then also 1 to 2 gigabytes of RAM. It recommends 4 gigabytes, and I definitely recommend it since it is using the KDE desktop environment, which is a little heavy on the resources. So I definitely recommend you guys use like 4 gigs or so for the system to actually run properly, where you don't run into any issues. But then 20 plus gigabytes of disk space, and what it says is 50 gigabytes is recommended, as well as 64-bit architecture, which that's what most people are using nowadays if you have a fairly new laptop or so. Now let's hop over to my virtual machine so we can run through the install right fast. See you in a second. Okay, cool. So I booted up Feren OS. This is what the desktop looks like, or this is what you'll see when you finally boot into the live ISO. All you have to do is, you know, boot in. It'll check the ISO for any errors, and just to verify that it'll run, and then it'll boot right into the operating system, the live ISO, and you can go through the process of actually installing. And right here is a welcome screen that actually popped up. I'm gonna hit skip just to close that, but all we have to do is click on the installer on the desktop, and that'll open up our Calamaris installer. And let's go through the installer right fast. You can actually use the desktop without installing it, just to verify, you know, your desktop, your hardware is supported and all that stuff, you know, and it runs properly. So let's go and select our language, and I'm gonna do American English because I'm in the US, and then hit next, and then it'll pop up and ask you to set up your hard disk. And as you can see, I have a 32 gigabyte hard drive, a virtual hard disk, because I'm running this on a virtual machine. All we have to do is hit erase disk. Now just note, if you're installing this on your hardware, you want to make sure you have all your data backed up, because this will wipe your operating system. Now let's go down and hit next there. And that basically gives you information about what you set up, or what it's going to do when it partitions the drives and all that good stuff. So all we have to do is hit install, and let's hit install now, and it should access for, and it looks like it doesn't. I thought it was going to access for our user accounts. Like I said, that's why sometimes when I do these, I'm confused if they're going to ask you to set up your user account. This is probably going to set it up after it reboots, because some systems do that. They'll go through like a setup phase once you get to the desktop, once you know it reboots and installs and everything. So I'll be back when it actually finishes the installation, and I'll walk through the desktop environment. Okay, so once the installation is complete, this will pop up and basically tell you to restart the system, and I'm assuming that's where you'll go on and set up your accounts when it start coming up with the operating system. So let's go down here, done, reboot, and I'll wait for this thing to come back up. Okay, cool. So sorry about the screen being small, but from what it looks like, it will go through the setup now. So we already set the language, so it's good to go. They pulled that from when we originally did the install, but we can set up our location. So I'm on the West Coast, so let's try to find let's go down, find Los Angeles, and there we go. So on the West Coast, hit next, and then we can select our keyboard, hit next, and then go down and type in our account. So Josh, and then I'm gonna just call it FOS21, and then go down and put in our passwords. Boom, put it in twice. Cool. And then you never want to select that. I always recommend people don't select this, because it'll automatically log in without asking for a password. You really don't want to do that. So let's hit setup, and then it'll go through, you know, set your locales and finish the setup of the system. And we should boot right into the OS, or at least come up to the login screen, so we can log into the system at that point. So I'll be back when that actually comes up. Okay, cool. It looks like it restarted the system again, so I'm gonna wait for it to come back up. All right, cool. So that's the login page. As you can see, it has my username selected, so all we have to do is type in our password, and we should be able to log in. And if you've used KDE systems, it's pretty much the same. I like that login screen. It's super cool. But I guess it's gonna go through a little bit more, you know, setup of the system, you know, initial setup of the system, because it doesn't take this long to actually log into the system once you have it up and running. You know what I'm saying? So I'll wait for this to finish as well. All right, cool. So it's actually done. And I would have liked that welcome screen to actually pop up. Well, I mean, they could do it however they want to. It's all good. I mean, but you know, seeing that welcome screen on the live ISO is kind of, I don't know, kind of weird. But that's something you typically see once the system is installed. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna still skip this tour. Well, let's go through it and let's see what actually pops up. Install guest editions for VirtualBox. So that's if you're using VirtualBox. So it recognized that I'm actually using a virtual machine. So that's super cool that it actually does that. And then this is cool right here that it actually sees a way for you to transfer files to Feren OS. And like I said, I never use this tool, so I don't know how it works. I'm assuming it writes everything over to external hard drive, and then you can bring it all back and it'll put it in the right locations, like your stuff that typically goes in your home directory, like your documents, pictures, videos, and all that good stuff. So that's what I'm assuming that transfer tool is actually for. So I'm gonna hit next, because I'm not gonna do that. But install restricted codexes, I don't care about that. And then also, you know, desktop mode and tablet mode. So they do have a tablet mode, but I'm gonna leave it at Feren OS default, which is the desktop mode. So let's hit next. And this is just some more setup right here, or not really setup, but it's teaching you how to actually use the system. So I'm glad I went through this. But they also have a way to get into the store, which is basically where you can install all your software. And like I said, it's Ubuntu based. It uses Ubuntu repositories, I'm assuming. So it's pretty much the same software that you would get on Ubuntu. And then this is cool that they actually have that there, but you can set your themes, you know, right off the back. I'm gonna use that dark theme. You know what I'm saying? I like dark for pretty much anything. And accent colors, that's cool. You can set up whatever you want for that. I'm gonna just hit next. I'm gonna leave it blue. And then you can also, if you didn't know, on KDE machines they do have a way to connect your phone to the OS. So that's super dope that that's there. And I'm actually getting tired of the screen looking like this, so let's go to my display settings right fast. and just type in display configuration. And I know I could do it from the command line. I see a lot of people do it in their videos. I guess it's, you know, cool, but I just find it easier to just go in here and actually, you know, do it myself using the GUI. But let's finish going through this thing. So configure night color, almost done. Let's hit enjoy. So we basically done with the operating system, the initial setup and the information that it provides you, you know, within the tour. So let me give my own tour, you know what I'm saying. Let's start over here on the right hand side. As you can see, right behind my face, and I might hide my, let me hide my face right fast so you guys can actually see what's going on over there. So, and here we go right here. So on the right hand side, you know, you got your notifications, all that good stuff right there, and other things you can actually use. So you got your onboard, clipboard, night color control. So that's where you go to that. I don't know if you guys seen that within the tour. Well, you can go there and modify it as well. It's basically some more settings in here. Your phone connects, your disk, you know, external drives, all that good stuff. Lock key status, you know, printer setup. So you can go in there and play around with that. You got your volume. Right now I'm in a virtual machine, doesn't have any video drivers attached to it, so it's not gonna work. Then there's the update manager, which is super cool. Let's go down and open that up. So as you can see, you can go through and install your updates. So that's super cool. It's already checked to see if we have updates. It has 77 updates available, so we can go down and install those updates. I'm not gonna do it right now, I just want to show you guys. And then right here is the systems magnet. So if you guys have never used that, you know, it's a good way of actually looking at the systems information, and I'm not sure why it's actually not coming up. So that's kind of weird right there, for it to not actually come up. So let's just ignore that for right now, but let's look at what else is on the board. So that's cool. Software center is right here, so it automatically opens up. Pretty simple to actually use. You can search for software, you can change settings about it, you can refresh the list of packages, you know what I'm saying, and then just a basic, you know, software center. So let's go ahead and close that. This is our file explorer. So whatever they use on KDE, I'm sure that's what they're using on here. So let's hit about, Nemo. Okay, let's go ahead and close it. But that's a cool theme that they have on there, especially for the night, you know, mode. That's super cool. And like I stated, Vivaldi is the default browser. So let's see what version of Vivaldi is on here. I haven't used Vivaldi in a while. I know it's an awesome browser, and I actually still have it installed. It's not like I don't have it installed. I have it installed, I just don't use it that often. And let's go down and close that. I wasn't trying to go up in there, but let's go to help and let's go to about. That'll give us the version that we have. So we're using version 4.2.2408.54 is the stable version, stable channel. So we're good to go with that. Let's go down and close that. But that's an awesome browser. I recommend you guys check it out for real. So let's hit the start menu. I'm not going to fully go through all the software, but it looks like they have a lot of great software on here. It's always awesome to see VLC. That's one of the things I always use. But you got your, you know, pretty much anything you need, you know, picture gallery, Geary for email, LibreOffice, which is super cool to actually have, KDE, you know, that's the text editor, system settings. We can go into system settings right fast as well, but let's go down and open this up again. I just want to go through a few more of the software, or let's see what else we got up in here. Device manager. It's pretty much all your default KDE software, so it's nothing new if you haven't, you know, seen it. And I'm not sure why the systems maintenance didn't pop up over when I clicked it over here. That was super weird, you know what I'm saying, for it to actually not pop up. But that's the system maintenance right there. It gives you all the system information if you need it. You know what I'm saying? Crash reports, you know, options. It may have been doing something in the background, but when it was over here, it didn't pop up for whatever reason. And maybe it's because I'm not a KDE user. I don't know what it was actually trying to do. But as you can see, you know, pretty much all the major software that you would need in order to use the operating system. So let's go over to the system settings right fast, because I wanted to show you guys, you know, some of the things you can actually do. But you got global themes, so you can go through and set, you know, a theme, whatever you want, you know, that they have installed on here. Or you can install themes, obviously, you know, get new global themes. You can click there. That should open up the site for you to download stuff. Desktop layout, so you can change out the layout, which is super cool. They got different layouts, and you can, this is where you can go in and set it to that tablet mode if you wanted to, or a breeze, which is super cool. Your different colors, so you can go through and mess with that. Text, you know, I mean, it's just so many options with Linux. And this is not just KDE, this is pretty much any Linux operating system. It's just a little, you know, difficult to find some of this stuff or install certain things on other distributions that use other desktop environments. This makes it super simple when you use a distribution like this. But it has the icon settings. You can go through and change your icons. You can add new icons, your cursor, you know, pretty much personalization of the actual operating system. And you do have some advanced settings, and this is where you kind of need to know what you're doing. I'm gonna hit cancel on that because I don't want to open it up, but that is where the advanced settings are. So if you want to go in there and play around with that, but it does have fonts, plasma style, Windows decorator, splash screen, you know, launch feedback, you know, all that stuff in there you can actually change as well. You just kind of want to make sure you know what you're doing when you go in there. And that's cool that they have like a prompt that pops up whenever you're going in there, you know what I'm saying? Or basically it says the settings of the current module have changed. Oh, that's essentially what that is. I think I made some changes or something. That's why it's not hopping in there in the advanced. Okay, all right, so that's the advanced. Let's go back up here and see if we can go in there. Yeah, okay, so we can. So icons, application styles, you know, just other changes, you know, that they put under advanced. Users, you can go in and mess with the users, manage user accounts, and pretty much this is everything you need as far as settings on the system. So I'm gonna go through and close it, but I wanted to show you guys, at least they have a clock up here, so that's cool. And you can open that up and hit the calendar, or look at the calendar, as well as events, you know, all the good stuff that you would want to see on your desktop that's easy accessible. And that's pretty much all I want to show you guys about Feren OS. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go down and check out Feren OS. And like I stated, this distribution has been kind of talked about and raved on as one of the top most attractive distributions that you want to see, that's based on Ubuntu and use the KDE desktop environment. So if you're interested, go on and install it in a virtual machine, play around with it, see if you actually like it, and possibly install it on your hardware. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like I said, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave comments down in the comments below, and make sure you guys check out my introduction to Linux course that's posted on my channel. Just search for it or whatever, but it's a 3-hour course that'll take you through how to use the Linux operating system and somewhat of an introduction, and this will help you get started learning how to use Linux. So hope you guys have a good day, and of course, keep it techie.